Hello everyone, welcome to our discussion on class Amphibia. Today we are going to discuss the different salient features of different orders and the examples coming under each order. So as we discussed in the last class, class Amphibia is having 3 existing orders. They were Anura, which belongs to frogs and dogs, the Urodela, which includes newts and salamanders, and order Apoda, which includes aliens. So we'll be discussing each order and their examples coming under each order. So coming to the first order, which is Anura, otherwise called as Salentia, which includes frogs and toads. The salient features are they are called as tailless amphibians, which means the adult organisms they do not have a tail as well as the gills, which is absent in the adult. The forelimbs are short and weak, and the hind limbs are long and strong and webbed and adapted for swimming. You can see here in this particular diagram how the difference between the forelimb and the hind limb, how long is the hind limb and how strong it is, which helps in swimming as well as in jumping. Locomotion is mainly aided by, in frogs, it is mainly aided by the hind limbs. The forelimbs are also used, but to a lesser extent than that of the hind limbs. Skin is scaleless and loosely fits on the body. It is not closely attached like our body skin. If you see, it is closely fits to the body. But in the case of frogs, it is not like that. It is loosely attached, and it is only attached at some points in the body. Larynx is well developed. The eyelids and tympanum is present. So you can here in this diagram you can see the tympanum. In larger frogs you can see such a big tympanum, but in smaller ones you can see a small membrane-like structure. It might be always more or similar to the color of the skin, but it will be usually present below the eyes. The tympanum is present, and the eyelids are also present. The larvae are called as the tadpole larvae. And the example that we are going to discuss is a tree frog, which is Hyla. So this is Hyla, which is a tree frog, which is adapted for a arboreal life. Now, so the ones which are marked in red is the arboreal adaptations of this frog. So the body is lean and long. The skin is smooth and glandular on the dorsal surface. The ventral surface of every frog, not only Hyla, every frog it lacks glands. So all the glands which produce the mucus, etc., the slimy material, etc., that is present on the dorsal surface. The ventral surface is devoid of glands. They are green in color and show adaptive coloration. Adaptive coloration does not mean that they have a camouflaging ability like our octopus as well as the chameleon that we discussed in reptiles. They show some sort of color changes depending upon they can change their color in different shades of green to the color of with more or less the color of leaves, but not to any color as you see in chameleons. Mostly they are nocturnal. The limbs are long with the digits swollen, and the swollen digits have the adhesive disc which is used for climbing. The vocal sacs are present in males, and they return to water for breeding. Even though they are arboreal for breeding purpose, the male and the female they return to water, and they have external fertilization. Development involves a larva which is called as a tadpole larva. The larva has gills, a large tail, and an adhesive sucker below the throat. The second order is Urodela or Quadrata, which includes Newton salamanders. They are common to North America. The only Indian Urodele is a Himalayan species, which is shown here. This one, which is called as the Tylotriton. The salient features are they possess a distinct tail in the adult stage. The one which we discussed were tailless amphibians. This is having a tail in the adult stage. They are lizard-like with a pair of limbs. The skin is closely fitting to the body without scales. The teeth is present on both jaws. There is no much distinction between the adult and the larva. The tympanum is absent in this case, so they do not have the capacity of hearing. They do not have a tympanum. And another thing is that their adult and larva, they are more or less similar with some differences. Only the external features like the gills will be present in the larva, where external gills can be seen, and also a tail fin can be seen, but that will be absent in the adult. Other features are more or less similar when you compare the adult and the larva of newts and salamanders. But when you compare these the tadpole or the tadpole larva of frog and the adult, you can see there is a much more difference in their structure, but that is not distinct in the case of newts and salamanders. So coming to the example, you have the example which is the tiger salamander. So you can see the warning coloration gives it the name. The black and yellow coloration gives it the name tiger salamander, and it is also warning that in nature such colorations are given to or are taken by organisms which are poisonous, and in this case it is also having a poison gland, a parotid gland on the head. The limbs are well developed here with 4 digits in the forelimb and 5 in the hind limb. The tail fin and the external gills are absent in the adult. Uh, Adults do not have that. The sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal here. In frogs, it is external. Here, it is internal. The larva is called as the axolotl larva. The larva of frog is called as a tadpole, and here it is called as axolotl larva. The larva possesses 3 pairs of gills, a tail fin, and a caudal fin is present. During metamorphosis, the gills, tail fin, etc., is lost and it transforms into an air-breathing adult. Coming to two different phenomenon that is exhibited by the larva that you can see here. So this one is the axolotl larva. As we said, you can see the adult and the larva. There is no much difference in the structure of the body. You can see there's the coloration and the external gills and also the tail fin as the striking differences between the adult and the larva. Uh, and these exhibit two important phenomena that's called as neoteny and pedogenesis. So we'll come to both. Neoteny is a phenomenon that is exhibited by this axolotl larva, which is seen usually in high altitudes. In high altitudes, what happens is that uh, the, because these larvae are usually seen in water, because as every amphibians they lay their egg in water, and the lava is seen in water with external gills, etc. So, in high altitude, because of the low temperature, and in some water puddles, what happens is that there will be a low iodine content. So, low iodine content, low temperature, plus more availability of food. So, these are the three factors. It causes the phenomenon which is called as neoteny. So when these three factors are prevailing, where you have low iodine, so low iodine is indicated with or related with when there is low iodine in water. The hormone which is called as the thyroid hormone from the thyroid gland will not be synthesized, and this thyroid is essential for metamorphosis. So the hormone which is essential for metamorphosis is not produced because of low iodine. Low temperature also will elevate this particular process of neoteny or the inhibition of synthesis of thyroid hormones, along with the more availability of food. So all this will contribute to the to something which is called as neoteny, where the larva is retaining uh, the larval stages are retained by the adult. The larval features are retained by the adult. The larval features, which include the external gills and the external gills and the tail fin. So that will be retained by the adult, and it will convert into an adult, or it will develop into an adult. So a particular organism, by retaining its larval features, it is becoming an adult. That phenomenon is called as uh, neoteny. So it's developed into an adult retaining the larval structures like gills and tail fins. And this particular phenomenon is called as neoteny. And After neoteny means adult structures means they become sexually mature, but morphologically they resemble an immature larva, and such a phenomenon is called as neoteny. Next is pedogenesis, which is a related term to neoteny. So, pedogenesis is nothing but this particular the organism which is showing neoteny, because it has transformed into an adult, or it is having adult structures like the gonads, etc. They attain sexual maturity by retaining larval structures, and they reproduce, and this particular process of phenomenon is called as pedogenesis, that is reproduction by an immature larval adult. You cannot call it as a larva, it is a larval adult. So, such a larval adult which exhibits neoteny, it reproduces and gives young ones. And such a phenomenon where an immature larval adult is reproducing is called as pedogenesis.
So next order is the class Apoda or Gymnophonia. So this Apoda, as the name suggests, they are limbless, worm-like burrowing amphibians. As you see in the pictures, these are the pictures of different types of caecilians. So these are called as caecilians. So they are more or less worm-like, and their morphology appears to be like earthworms, but they are larger than earthworms. They are more larger than earthworms, and also like earthworms, they are also burrowing, and they are amphibians. Eyes are small and they are hidden beneath the skin, and hence they are usually or they are blind. The tail is vestigial or absent, but in the case of the larval forms of the tadpoles, you can see the tail fin or the caudal fins are present. The dermal scales are embedded in the skin. The skull is solid and compact because of their particular mode of living, that is burrowing. They are having a solid and compact skull, which is adapted for burrowing. The males are having an irreversible copulatory organ, irreversible in the sense that can be taken inside the body and that can be put out. So that the mechanism where it can be retracted into the body and then forced outside the body or outside the body, such a type of an organ that is called as irreversible copulatory organ. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous or ovoviviparous. Oviparous means they lay the eggs and the eggs are incubated outside. That is called as oviparous. Oviviviparous means viviparous is actually the case with mammals, where or the particular young one develops inside the body of the mother, taking nutrition through the or nutrition from the mother to the structure which is called as placenta. But when you come to oviviparous, it does not have any relation with viviparity as in mammals. So here, ovoviviparous means they lay or they do not lay the eggs. They have the eggs inside their body, or the mother incubate the eggs inside her body, and the egg hatches inside the body, and the young one comes outside the body. So the young one or the completely developed young one, which is coming, or the larva which is coming out of the body, because the larva is coming out of the body, like the case with viviparity in mammals, they have given or coined the term ovoviviparous. So it does not have anything or any mechanism or any feature that is similar to the uh, development that you see in mammals with the placenta, etc. Such structures are entirely different. They have their eggs or they incubate without laying the eggs, or they do not lay the eggs outside. They incubate their eggs inside the body, and the young ones or the eggs hatches inside the body of the mother. The nutrition for the young one is like other oviparous, like the yolk will be present inside the egg, and it is through the yolk they get the nourishment. There is no structure like a placenta, etc., as that you can see in the case of mammals. They also show parental care. The example is ichthyophis. So coming to the example ichthyophis, they are commonly called as blind worms because the minute eye is covered by an opaque skin. As you can see here, there is an eye, and that eye is covered by an opaque skin, and hence they are blind. The body is very slimy, dark brown in color, and you can see the ring-like fold which have concealed. This ring-like folds give them the appearance of a larger earthworm. They are limbless, worm-like caecilians occupying the burrows in the moist soil. They feed on small worms and invertebrates. The head is small and it is depressed and it also have a pair of sensory tentacles between the eyes and nostrils. You can see here. So here is a nostril and this is the eye. Between the eye and the nostrils, you can see the sensory tentacles. So the sensation which because the eye is not powerful, or the eyesight in them is very because an opaque skin is covering the eye, they can't see. So the power of sensation is given by this particular sensory tentacles, which is present between the eyes and the nostrils. The middle ear and the tympanum is absent, and hence they can't hear. Males have a copulatory organ which is having hooks. This is also an irreversible copulatory organ. The female is oviparous, so you can see here the eggs are laid outside. That is why this ichthyophis is oviparous, and they show parental care. Parental care is by protecting the egg by coiling them around. The eggs are incubated by coiling around the eggs, and wherever they move, they take the eggs. And when the eggs reaches the time of hatching, they take this eggs, or they will be incubating near some very close to some water body. As a result, the young ones will directly, the larvae will move towards, or the tadpoles move towards the water. They possesses, because they are aquatic like other amphibians, they have three pairs of gills and a tail without a caudal fin. So this is with the example of apoda, which is ichthyophis. So with this, we come to the end of our discussion of the classification of amphibians. So in the next session, we'll be starting with the type study, where we'll be discussing in detail the entire systems and the entire morphology, the entire anatomy, entire systems which is present in amphibian. And we'll be taking the type as the normal green frog that we see around us, which is called as Euphlectus hexadactylus. So with this, we conclude this particular session. Thanks for hearing.